Hey there, Prairie Plant Girl here. Today I'm out in the greenhouse. I'm going to be getting some of my flowers started for this year's flower garden. So these are some flowers that really are happy to be out in some cooler weather. They can get out early in spring, even before my average last frost, and they take a little while to get going. So I'm going to be sowing my Rainbow Loveliness Dianthus. That's from Heritage Harvest Seeds, and Angelonia Serena mix from Bessie's. So I'm really excited to get those plants started and kind of kick off the indoor seeds starting. I have started some onions and some herbs, and I've done a little bit of winter sowing, but these will be the official first flowers that I'm starting that'll be inside on my grow light racks, waiting for the good weather to come along. You can see behind me we have snow once again, but it's a beautiful day out. The birds are chirping and enjoying the sunshine, and I'm happy to be out here in the greenhouse, getting my hands in some soil and just enjoying some seed starting. So come along with me and let's get these seeds going. I'm going to be sowing them just in these little 12-pack seed trays. I have a couple different styles of these. It's just they're very similar. This is just a clear tray bottom with holes. If you can see, there's holes in the bottom of the trays. Just a little container. I also have some black, some green catch containers, and then the lids, which I can't get apart. So these are just humidity domes. Now these technically go with the green bottom, so I just grabbed their shorter domes. I also have taller domes, and they have some little LED lights in them. So I can link those if you're interested. If you don't have a big grow light setup like I do, then maybe you want some with the lights in them. Even if you have south or west facing windows, sometimes the lights can be helpful, though you do want to take the domes off once the plants get larger or raise them up a little bit, so that there's good air circulation around the plants. So the lights only go so long for you, but they can be helpful, especially at that young stage when the plants are just getting going. But I'm going to take all the pieces apart here and just use the seed cells for right now. And I have my seed starting mix here. So this is just a grower's mix that I purchase in large bales. I get mine at, oops, putting it in there. I get mine at PV Mart, but you can also just pick up regular seed starting mix or bags of like just peat moss. I have about 3 parts of the grower mix here. 1 part of vermiculite, and I'm using kind of a medium textured vermiculite, and 1 part of perlite, and that gives me the texture I like. It's nice and damp right now, but it's not sopping wet, so it holds together in a pretty nice ball. It feels like I could almost squeeze liquid out of it, but I'm not getting a single drop out. And I get this ball here, and I can easily still break it up into a nice crumbly mix. So that's what you want. That allows good drainage, but the vermiculite and peat moss will help hold some moisture, enough moisture to help the seeds get going. If you come across any large chunks or sticks, if you're not using a seed starting mix, you might just take those out. It doesn't matter lower in the tray, but as you get to the top, if you have like sticks or anything, you want to get those out of the way so that the seeds can make their way through, push through the soil. Now, both of these varieties of seed that I have here today will just be sown on the surface of the soil. So not as important to kind of sift through and make sure you don't have so many big chunks, but you do want to make sure there's nothing big there that's going to be competing with them pushing the roots down as they're just getting started. So I'm going to fill this pretty much right to the top because they are just surface sown. And I tend to water my seed trays from the bottom or with a spray mister, so I don't need to leave extra room, especially fine seeds like this. So there's my tray all filled up. Actually, I'm just going to do my other one real quick while I'm in the dirt here. Kind of want to tamp it down a little bit. You don't want it so tight that there's the water and air and that can't move through the soil, but you don't want it to, when it gets wet, all the soil mix drops down. You don't want to have big air pockets anywhere in there, so just give it a little tamp. You can tamp the trays, just drop them on the counter, or just do a little poke like I've done here, just to make sure all the corners are filled in the tray and there's no air pockets. Okay, so 2 trays filled with soil. So I'm going to start with the Dianthus. I've been growing this for a few years. I first started with it because they actually sent me free seed one year, and I really liked this Rainbow Loveliness Dianthus. It's a real feathery, frilly kind of flower, but very cold hardy, cold tolerant. And it's a nice little kind of filler in flower arrangements, and it's just kind of a just nice fluff around my cut flower garden, so I like it. So here's the seeds. Now I probably don't need that many out, and I'll put a couple of these in each cell, and I'm just going to sprinkle them on top. I'll try and kind of spread them out. They're small, and I'm just going to kind of spread them out a little bit, and then if I decide, I can separate them out later if I have a couple germinate in each cell here, or I can just cut one off at the soil level if I decide that I had really good germination and 12 is enough. I usually have, since I've been growing this, I usually have a couple come back for me in the yard. I don't know if it's because they've dropped seed or the actual plant is coming back. I suspect they've just dropped some seed and that seed has regrown out in the yard. So I usually don't need a ton, so 12 will be lots. I've already made a label. So I just put Dianthus on it, and I'll put in my garden journal when I planted it, so I'm not too worried about having that on my tag. So these just say to sprinkle on the soil surface, and I'm going to add just a little bit of fine vermiculite on top, and that will just hold some moisture at the soil surface, and it doesn't seem to affect the seeds that need light to germinate. I think it just reflects the light enough or something that it still works. And then I have a spray bottle here. I'll give these a spray just to get that vermiculite on top nice and damp, and get the seeds nice and damp, and that'll help to also settle them into the soil. Stick them in one of these trays here that I have ready, put a lid on it, and while they're germinating, I'll close up the little top vent, and then as they start to germinate, I'll open it up so they get a little more air circulation in there. And once they've all germinated, I will remove the top vent. These will go in my house under my grow lights on my grow shelf. So let's get the Angelonia done. And it's basically going to be the same procedure. But Angelonia, they take 12 to 14 weeks to get going, which I believe is right where I'm at. I'll put it on the screen where I am in my weeks before my average last frost. And these are quite a precious seed, so not very many in here. I believe there's supposed to be 10, and I think I kind of counted the vial out here, and I think there's 11 in there. So I have 12 cells set up here, but I'm just going to try and get 1 seed per cell, and hopefully, if I can get it open, hopefully they all germinate for me. These are a really pretty little plant. So these have been coated. They're very fine seed, and they have some coating on them to help them be easier to handle, and just kind of helps them to stay healthy while they're germinating. So hopefully you can see there one little yellow seed, and I'm just kind of setting them on top right now. And they'll get worked into the soil when I spray them with the spray bottle. That'll help work them down so they have good contact with the soil. So yeah, there's 11 in there. So I have one cell that doesn't have any. That's what I expected. You could go like this and just give them a little push to make sure they have good contact, but I find sometimes those small seeds, they stick to your finger. So I prefer to just kind of set them on. This one's really hanging out, so I'm going to give it a little push. I'll just, again, sprinkle a little vermiculite. I'll try to leave that one cell that doesn't have a seed in it without vermiculite, just so I remember that's the one that doesn't have any in it. Again, good spray. get good contact. Into their tray, lid on, push the tag down a bit, lid on, and I have 2 trays of seeds planted. Just that quick and easy. So what'd that take, 5 minutes? I love it. So these little domed containers are nice if you're just starting a few seeds at a time. If you wanted to grow lots, you could get a larger tray, or you can just use something as simple as little individual yogurt cups or something like that. Some people use like disposable plastic cups to start your seeds, but any small vessel that'll hold some soil and keep some moisture in is all you really need. I will be putting these on my grow shelf in my house under some grow lights. Both of these plants will benefit from a little bit of light to get them started. Some seeds don't require that. If you're burying them under soil, then you don't need the lights until you see germination, but these will benefit from the light. It helps encourage them to break dormancy. And I will just be keeping the top little bit of the soil moist with my spray mister until I have a little bit of growth on the plants in here, and then I'll start bottom watering. That's just my preference. You don't need to have all the soil super wet while the seeds are germinating, and that just helps to keep down any fungal issues or anything, and that's what I find works best for me. Once they germinate, like I said, I'll be taking the domes off of the trays once I have pretty much full germination, or at least 80% in the trays. And then I have a fan going in my grow room, and that will give me lots of good air circulation so that the plants, again, you know, they're going to be stronger plants because they have that little bit of air movement that they have to kind of work against. And it also helps to keep down any fungal diseases or anything. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.